Welcome one and all to the all-in-one MLS Fantasy Show. This is the MLS Fantasy Cast. I am Cooper, your host. I am not joined by Pancake today. I'm out in the town, so she will not be part of the video today. Sorry for no Pancake Cam. Today we are doing our review of the coming week. We're going to go through all the fixtures, go through players I'm considering, ones I'm not, and then we will build the team. If the other quality is not as good today, I do apologize, and this may be a little bit of a shorter episode, but I do have a lot to talk about. So let's go through blah blah blah. Go ahead, go through the fixtures. Let's get through the fixtures real fast. Chicago Fire, CF Montreal. Montreal have completely turned around their waveform from last year. They are pretty impressive on the road thus far. Huge win over Miami last week. There's no reason that they can't beat Chicago Fire. Chicago Fire are kind of at the echelon of teams who can fumble leads, just kind of almost like a parody team sometimes. No offense to Chicago. They are better this year, but it just seems to be like built into their DNA that they're going to lose games that they should win. They really need to get Hugo Kuipers going. I think there's a good chance that hopefully he scores this game, hopefully for them. I mean, it's a home game for Chicago. Montreal have been on the road for a while. They still have a little bit more to go. So I could see this one going either way, but it's really hard to bet against Montreal in their current form. DC United and Inter Miami going at it. DC United were very impressive. All the games they've played so far, really. Now they're going to be at home against Inter Miami. Messi will not be playing this weekend. So this actually looks to me like a favorable matchup for DC United, especially if Christian Benteke is healthy and good to go. Seattle and the Colorado Rapids. Seattle had the canceled game last week, so they've had a little bit of extra rest, which they really need. They've had some massive injury problems. I think Rusnak will hopefully be back for them, maybe even Stephen Frey in goal. Colorado got a big rivalry win last weekend. They should be flying high off of that, making another away trip now. This is a game that I could kind of see going either way. If Colorado are going to start to put it together a little bit, actually, from their semi-disastrous start, then this could be a good building block towards that. That being said, Seattle don't really concede goals at home. They don't really score goals, period. So this probably should be a low-scoring affair. I think Colorado, I'm very interested to see what they look like this game. But a little bit of a toss-up to me. I think it could go either way, but you know, I would probably favor Seattle, at least for the draw. If not the win a little bit. Columbus Crew and New York Red Bulls then. This should be a excellent game. It should be a super good game. Both these teams have pretty good offenses, and really for the Columbus Crew, I mean, they have Cucho. Nobody else really in that attack is performing consistently right now, if at all. Diego Rossi, I think, has really had a poor start to the season. It's really the Cucho Hernandez show, which is enough. They do create a lot. Columbus are borderline the best team in the league. Returning champions still look very good, but the New York Red Bulls are scary. That is a scary team to face. They are very aggressive. They played classic Red Bulls football. Emil Forsberg was an incredible addition to the team. He is definitely one to look out for, and I think this game could straight up go either way. I think there should be a lot of goals. New York City and Toronto. Speaking of a lot of goals, this is actually the opposite of that. I don't think there should be that many goals in this game at all. Both these teams are very low-performing XG teams at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised by a 0-0. I wouldn't be surprised by a 1-1. If one of these teams win 2-1, I think that's about the height of goals that I foresee. I think the vibes are good enough for Toronto that they probably back themselves to get something out of this game. Austin and Philadelphia. Philadelphia coming off one of the most embarrassing CCL losses of all time for an American team. They were abysmal. It wasn't just that Pachuca were good and clobbered them. Philadelphia was also properly awful in just about every facet of the play. I think Quinn Sullivan's the only player who maybe can take something from that game. He tried his best. Jacob Glesnes he is having a nightmare season so far. A lot of good Philadelphia players returning are really underperforming right now. I actually think that Austin could, if Sebastian Driussi plays, I think Austin could win this game. I really do. But kind of similar to New York and Toronto, this probably should be a low-scoring game. Philadelphia, it's not just the embarrassment and all the fixture pilot for them. It's not just the fitness stuff, but they do also have a lot of injuries. It is difficult for me to really favor Philadelphia for this game. Probably a draw, and then maybe one of these teams could sneak a win. I would probably guess Austin. FC Dallas and Vancouver. Vancouver did get the good win against San Jose last week, but I think that was more on San Jose being bad than it was Vancouver being really good. They're still tinkering a little bit with what they're doing. I don't know why they didn't just come out and do the same thing as last year. It's not like they're not that far off from it, but they're doing some stuff that I find a little bit strange. FC Dallas they're taking a little bit longer to gel together than I thought they would. I think this could be a good game for FC Dallas. I would be surprised if Vancouver get a win, but either a draw or a Dallas win is most likely to me. Houston Dynamo and the Portland Timbers. Houston also getting knocked out of CCL earlier this week. They just a thin roster, especially up top, but they do perform extremely well at home. Portland are also doing really well, even in away games, doing really well. This could be actually a back and forth game. I think both teams have a goal in them for this one, but it's a little bit of a toss-up. I would probably this game most likely to be a draw, like 1-1 or something like that. Minnesota and Los Angeles FC. Minnesota have been extremely impressive so far. Los Angeles were extremely unimpressive last week. To be honest, I think if I were to pick between win for one team or a draw, I think Minnesota might win this game. I really think they can. They were a little discombobulated at times last week. Their price is so aggressive that's going to happen. But Los Angeles, I think, might be a team this year that actually really struggles with the press. I think Minnesota is going to win this game. I'm going to go ahead and call it as a Minnesota win. I really think so. Los Angeles, I think, were just really poor last week. Nashville and Charlotte. Probably another low-scoring game. A lot of those this week. Nashville kind of got their butts handed to them the other day against Inter Miami. They are out of CCL. That'll probably be good for them in the long run, though, because I think Hani Mukhtar and Sam Surge are starting to come back. It'll be good for their fitness to have a little bit of extra rest. Charlotte, I think, are an extremely well-organized team. They're adding pieces in. They're good. I think Charlotte could win this game. Depending on the minutes of players like Hani Mukhtar, I think Nashville could win this game, but probably a low-scoring game no matter what. Sporting Kansas City against San Jose Earthquakes. Of all the games this week, I think this is maybe the most one-sided. I know Sporting Kansas City aren't, great, but they may be better than expected, especially better than I expected them to be. They were very good last week. San Jose might be the worst team in the league. I find it hard to see San Jose scoring a goal in this game, so I would at the very least say Kansas City can get a 0-0, but they should start to get some of their attacking pieces going. This more likely than not should be an SKC victory. LA Galaxy against St. Louis. LA Galaxy were kind of a mess last week. They will hopefully this game at home against St. Louis hope to stamp their style of play or just get more consistent. Stamp their authority on the game, and probably this is a game that they're eyeing up a significant victory. I know St. Louis, their results have been all right recently, but I think that they are still a lower tier, bottom half comfortably team in the league this year. I think an LA Galaxy win is most likely. On Sunday, we're looking at New England and FC Cincinnati. Both teams are CCLing this week, but New England should get a chance to rest most of their starters since they already have a 4-0 aggregate lead against La Liga. FC Cincinnati, they have not played their game. We'll see what they look like. They're a team, I think, that is in transition into a different style. They're going to be a more defensive team this year. Their midfield is really struggling. I haven't seen an injury update on Nwobodo, but we'll see what goes on with that. Really, I think FC Cincinnati could actually struggle in this game, even though New England have been very poor so far this year. It's probably going to be a low-scoring game. If Bupenza starts is a big factor for me into what's going to happen, but probably a low-scoring game. I think I'll actually give the edge to New England. Then the last game is Atlanta and Orlando. I think an Atlanta victory is very likely. Orlando have really struggled so far this year. I really can't see anything other than an Atlanta victory. Anything else would be, frankly, a disaster for Atlanta. All right, so getting into the team, I'll go ahead and so some of the things that I've already kind of locked in. Aside from the scrub goalkeeper, I really want Melia this week, which is funny because if you saw my short last week, he was in my anti-team. I really thought SKC was going to struggle away at LAFC. That was not the case. Tim Melia was brilliant. Taking him this week. Hopefully they can get the clean sheet. I can get a good price rise and a lot of points. It is an obvious pick. Speaking of SKC defense, Jake Davis has been a guy who I picked from the very beginning, actually. I think I was just a hair early on him because that first week he didn't quite perform. Since then, he's been very good, especially last week. He was excellent. Kind of just an easy, obvious pick for me this week. He's very well priced. Hopefully they get the clean sheet. So other defenders, Seattle have a good chance to keep a clean sheet this week. Alex Roldan. And Xavier Arriaga is going to start. I think Yeimar Gomez is healthy, but it seems like they're going to slow roll him back into the team. Jackson Rang is not a bad pick, but he is just a little bit rich for my blood. Atlanta obviously have a very good chance of the clean sheet. Brooks Lennon is a little bit rich for my blood as well. If you've seen any of my other stuff so far this year, you know that I'm really trying to be stingy on my defensive spending. I don't think the points are flowing that way, especially not the bonus points. This is actually the week so far that I've actually wanted to spend the most money on defenders, aside from week 1 where I didn't really know how the points were. I didn't know about the points changes as much as I do now. Brooks Lennon is a great pick this week. I really want to take him. He's just too expensive. I just can't swing it for the money I want to put in to my midfielders and attackers. Caleb Wiley is a good choice, but his performances have been fantasy points wise poor enough recently that I'm worried that actually if Atlanta do blow the clean sheet, that he might lose value again. I really don't want that to happen. Derek Williams at 5.2 though is also well priced. Looking at some other ones, I think Jordi Alba and Julian Gressler are too expensive. I also don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet. Aaron Herrera actually is not a bad shout if you want to spend a little bit of extra money. Matt Hedges, or not Matt Hedges, he's too expensive at 7, but I think Julio Cascante for Austin is only 6.3. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Maybe even a price rise in there. If you want to take Toronto defenders, not a bad idea either. Or more SKC defenders. Label's only 6.4, so that's a pretty good deal as well. Rosario 6.3. I would probably go with Labeled though over Rosario. I think the extra 0.1 is going to be worth it. Totland has been a guy who, for his price, has been like a bonus point monster, but he's starting to get priced out of really being a good option. I think 6.5 is a little too high. And away to LA, I wouldn't consider him this week either. But just in general, I don't think he's going to be as good of an option for a lot of people as he has been. If you want to take like McNaughton or any Nashville defenders, that makes sense to me too. Maybe even a Houston defender, not the worst idea, but guys that I'm considering, pretty much everyone I just said is just more expensive than I want to spend money on. Chicago have the home game. Montreal were bad away last year. I know Montreal putting in a lot of goals so far, but really for me, like Alan Aragoni is only $4 million. He has not been good this year. The Chicago defense has not been good. But I can't lose value on him because he's as low as it'll go. And if something actually happens, then he's going to go up. This feels just like such a safe bet. Just to toss Aragoni in there. Like maybe something will happen, maybe something won't. Other guys, like for this defender spot is the most budget of the 3 that I'm going to take. I'm going to run the same formation as last week with the 2 defender scrubs. Aragoni's just like, it's a whatever. Like, I don't think he's going to blank like he did last week. I don't think Montreal are going to run up the score this week. I really don't, regardless of the result. So I'm going with Aragoni just because he's so cheap. He's so cheap. Other option is FC Dallas defenders against Vancouver. Decent matchup. If you want to even stack them, I don't think that's a bad option for the prices because Tumasi's only 4.8, Shinqua's only 5, and then even Nkosi Tafari at 6.2 is not bad. I'm going to take Shinqua at 5 because he's performed well. He's gotten some good bonus points on the passing end. He is on some set pieces, on some corners. I think he's splitting them now since Jesus Ferreira's back, but he might still take some. Or actually last week, they only had one corner against the Red Bulls, and a different, like a midfielder, I think, took it. So maybe not, but either way, it's not like there's crossing, there's only one cross here listed per week. It's not that big of a deal. just for, the points he's gotten for the price, it's a good option. If FC Dallas keep a clean sheet, we should actually see a very, very nice price rise. And then the last two spots are just going to be my scrubs. I'm trying to put as little money into defenders as I possibly can. Although I will say this is the week that it felt the hardest for me to do that. I actually wanted to spend a little bit on defenders, but with the money that you're going to see me want to throw around in second, it just wasn't viable. Wasn't a viable option. So I'm taking Carlos Hill. I am pretty sure that he will rest the whole game versus La Liga tonight. So he should be fresh, good to go. Doesn't matter what New England do, he puts up points. His key pass numbers are wild. His passing numbers are really good. He gets shots on goal. He also scores wonder goals. He's the guy. He's just, the price I think is worth it. I'm taking Acosta this week as well because his bonus points are also just great no matter what happens on the result. I'm hoping that Bupenza starts for them against New England. I almost feel like they can't afford not to just play them both unless they're just throwing the game completely. I don't think they're going to do that. I just think, like, after they play their next CCL game, it's already apparent to me that this team is really poor offensively. Their options have gotten so much worse. If Bupenza's not on the field, I don't think they can score a goal. Santos and Baird have been terrible this year. No other options. I think Bupenza's going to start because I think they just need him to. If Bupenza doesn't start, Acosta's not going to start. There would be no reason to play them both for this weekend. Noonan just has to start them unless he just doesn't want to score any goals. Like, that offense is just so poor. So I'm going to take Acosta because he's a bonus point monster. I think Bupenza will start. That'll help his bonus points. Once I get all these players in, though, you're going to see me move Acosta to the bench because I do actually feel like he's a little bit riskier than these other options just because Cincinnati haven't been good going forward into the final third. Ricky Puig is like the most essential player in the game right now. Bonus point monster. He's also getting goals. Hopefully he goes back on the pens. Not much more to say about it. I'm taking Cucho this week. He didn't play a ton of minutes midweek, which was nice. He's a guy that just, it's the Cucho show. Everything goes through him. He was even making passes from deep the other day. He's all over the field. He's a key pass monster. He gets so many shots. He didn't do anything in Chicago, so got 6 points. You got to take Cucho, and it is a home game. Hopefully he will do well. I'm going to take Giakoumakis again this week. Another home game against a very, very poor Orlando defense. No-brainer to me. Toss him in. We should see another price rise, more or less, no matter what happens. Other midfielders, I'm getting Forsberg in. I missed out on him last week because I thought that game was going to get rained out. He just gets so much time. Free kicks. I think he hit one off the bar against FC Dallas. I know it's an away game at Columbus, but Columbus defense is porous. It was last year too. I really like Forsberg. I think he's one of the best fantasy options assets in this game this year. We're also going to pop in right here Thiago Almada. He was brilliant last week. I think he'll be great again. He's going to be a guy that just gets so much time on the ball. If he can get the shots into, that really helps his bonus points. You got the pen goal. Maybe we'll see some free kick goals come soon. Another player, he's just a no-brainer. And for my last striker, I do have $9.5 million to play with here. I'm not super sure what I want to do. So Messi's hurt. I'm not taking Bouanga, not even considering it. I think there's a chance he scores next week, but he was so poor last week. If he doesn't do good against Minnesota, his price is going to drop, and I'm not willing to risk it. I think Joveljic is a good option for LA Galaxy. He's been playing very well, although he's probably off of pens now. But a good option at home against St. Louis. Petar Musa was not very good against the Red Bulls last week. I probably wouldn't take him this week. I think Insigne is a decent option. He's kind of made his 2 goals so far out of nothing. He's a guy who maybe once he starts to buy in more, and it looks like he is starting to buy into the Herman project. As this goes along, he'll get more time on the ball. His key passes are really low. Toronto despite the goals they've put up, aren't a very good offensive team. Their XG is very low. I like Insigne this week. I'm considering him, but I'm not sure that I'm going to take him. Benteke, I think the injury concerns put me off a little bit. If we get a report that's like, oh, he's super healthy, good to go, I think he actually could be a really good option this week. Miami, their center backs. Kristoff not as much. Aviles mainly isn't very good in the air. Benteke could actually really feast on that. Jesus Ferreira, I actually think, is a good option this week. He might be my front runner here, just because if you know, also like before the year started, I really thought, or before the season started, I thought Ferreira was going to have a good year, especially with the new bonus points and key pass system. I think he didn't do great last week, but he should start to. He's another guy who should be like a key pass monster. Teemu Pukki's a good option. Beyond that, I think Bernardeschi, even though he's playing right wing back, has actually is racking up a lot of key passes and good passing stats. He's getting some shots in. He's actually really a decent option. I'm not gonna take him, but if you did, I wouldn't turn my nose up at it. If you want to take a punt on Kuipers, I think that's fair enough. Even if you want to take a punt on Bakrar, I don't think that's the worst idea, or Pulido if you are operating on a budget. Tomas Clay also has gotten a lot of bonus points so far this year. It is really just him and Carlos Hill up there, mainly Carlos Hill, but you see the shots, the key passes, these are decent numbers. He's a good option. He's a good option. If he were I wish he was listed as a midfielder. That would be way better. He would be a great pick if he were a midfielder, but sadly that's not the case. Aside from that, I don't think, despite Duncan McGuire scoring a brace last week, I'm not going to send him away to Atlanta. I don't think there's really anyone else that's worth considering or taking. Not even Jordan Morris, to be honest with you. So I'll probably put in, just for now, I feel like Jovelic's price is going to go up no matter what he does. Sorry, I didn't mean to click on Teemu Pukki. Jesus Ferreira had the one. I'm going to toss in Joveljic just because I have the money to. If Temelia whiffs, and that doesn't work out, then I'll probably downgrade Joveljic so I can put in a better goalie. That's probably the plan. I'm going to start Thiago Almada over Luciano Acosta. Even though Acosta plays first, I'm just definitely a little bit worried about Cincinnati laying an egg. And aside from that, that is going to be my team this week. We'll finish with my captain. I think I'm going to captain Thiago Almada. Feels like a safe choice. I think I've captained forwards every week so far this year. No, I captained Gald 1 week. That was not good. But I think I need to captain them less. And captain... Really, I should just captain Pooch every week. In fact, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to captain Ricky Pooch. Watch this be the week where he doesn't do anything. I feel like I've made that mistake every week this year and not captain Ricky Pooch. And I should just captain every week. He seems like the safest choice. Never mind. Almada, great captaincy option. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I won't. I should captain Ricky Pooch. The universe is trying to tell me that. That is going to do it for this week. This is what my team is looking like going into the week. Best of luck to everybody. Keep an eye on the weather. Make sure your game does not get canceled. I hope the FMLS gods favor your teams, give y'all good bonus points and goals. I'll talk to y'all next week at the review.